Swiftie, it's Ellen here again, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to play My Tears Ricochet off of the Folklore album on the guitar. I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to my patrons on my Patreon page for voting on this song as this month's patron picks. So if you want a little bit of voting power in the order of the songs that you see me teach here on this channel, make sure to check it out. I will link it in the description box down below. Here's a quick overview of everything I'll be covering in this tutorial today, and with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so to play this song we do need to know 6 different chords, and we're going to start with our A minor, which looks like this and sounds like this. And by the way, if you don't know how to read these chord charts you're seeing on screen, I do cover how to do that in my free beginner series right here on YouTube, so make sure to check that out right here. The next chord is our G major. We also have our E minor. Now this next chord is a bar chord, which is our F major. However, if bar chords are something that you're currently struggling with and you plan on just strumming through this song, you can replace that with your F over C, which is a non-barred way to play that F chord. However, with the picking pattern for this song, I would recommend doing the barred version of F. And then after that we have our C major. And the last chord is our D minor. And those are the 6 chords you need to know to play through this song. So go ahead and pause the video and take as much time as you need to really memorize these chord shapes, as well as practice transitioning back and forth between them, because it'll make learning the rest of the song so much easier for you. And like I said in the chords section, if bar chords are something that you're currently struggling with, I would recommend checking out my bar chord mini series on my Forever Faithful channel, where I break down how to play those better. Or like I said, you can also replace that barred F with the F over C chord. It will affect the picking pattern that I want to show you here at the end of the tutorial, but if you're just planning on sticking to strumming, then the F over C works perfect for this song. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the strumming next. Alright guys, so as I always say, if you are brand new to playing guitar, or you're somebody who struggles with playing guitar while singing at the same time, the first thing I would suggest doing is to bring up the song and go ahead and go through the entire thing with just a single down strum on the chord changes as you sing through the song. And you want to take this time to really get used to what word or what syllable you're on whenever those chords are changing. So here's a quick example of what that would look like. We gather here, we line up, weeping in a sunlit room. And if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too. Alright, so that's just a really quick example, but you would essentially want to do that for the entire song and just really make sure you know where those chords are going to be changing. And one of the cool things about this song is that the whole thing is kind of a little bit more slow and mellow, so this single down strum can actually be used for quite a bit of the song. So if you want to go through it and practice it with a single down strum, I do have this entire guide available to download and print out on my Patreon page, so I'll make sure to link that in the description box below for those of you who are interested. But once you have this down under your belt, we can go ahead and add to this single down strum to create more of a full strumming pattern that you can use for this song. Alright guys, so for strumming for this song, it's going to be pretty simple. As you can see, it's just 4 down strums followed by an up strum. So we're going to count this in an 8th note count. It's going to sound like this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Alright, that's the whole strumming pattern, and you can apply this for the entire song if you wanted to. What we're going to do is play this pattern through 1 time per chord throughout the song. So let's go ahead and take a look at the verse as an example. We're starting here on our A minor chord. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and to G, to E minor, down, 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 up to F. So you want to just practice stringing all of those together without stopping. A minor, G, E minor, F. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Alright, and that's how you can play the verses. We gather here, we line up, weeping in a sunlit room. And if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too. strumming pattern will work throughout the song. So let's go ahead and take a look at an example of the chorus. The chords are going to be a little different here. So we've got C to D minor to A minor to F. All right, but the strumming pattern is the same. We're still doing one time through per chord. So we've got C, down, 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 up to D minor, to A minor, to F. All right, without stopping, C, A minor, A minor, to F. Didn't have it in myself to go with grace, and you're the hero flying around saving face. All right, so that's how you would play the strumming pattern with both the verse and the choruses. And then the only place that's a little bit different is the bridge. The bridge is going to follow the same chord order as the chorus, and we're actually going to play it exactly the same way. So the only thing that's different there is the melody of the singing. I can go anywhere I want, anywhere I want, just come. You can aim for my heart, go for blood, but you would still miss me. All right. So this strumming pattern is super versatile. You can use it for the entire song. And if you want to just strum through this song, I would do a combination of single down strums mixed with this more full strumming pattern throughout the song. All right, guys, so again, go ahead and pause the video and take as much time as you need to get this strumming rhythm under your belt. Although it is fairly straightforward, if you are brand new to playing guitar, strumming patterns like this can take a little bit of time to get used to, so just make sure you take the time to do that. But once you come back, I wanted to show you guys a picking pattern that I came up with that sounds really pretty with this song and just kind of dresses it up a little bit while also matching kind of the vibe of the song. So let's go ahead and talk about picking next. All right, guys, so today's picking pattern I do think is fairly easy to pick up even if you're brand new to picking. But first of all, let's go ahead and go over some ground rules. First of all, I am going to be referring to my guitar strings as numbers. So I have the low E as 6, and then it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 all the way to the high E, which is actually the lowest, thinnest string here. So I'll be referring to these as numbers for the rest of this section of this tutorial. And then just know that with your left hand, we're still going to be holding down the same chord shapes we've been playing throughout this song. And on your right hand, you're going to assign different fingers to different strings. So what I want you to do is with your pointer and your middle and your ring finger, I want you to put these on the bottom 3 strings, the G, the B, and the E, and they're going to just kind of stay there throughout this picking pattern. And your thumb is going to be in charge of picking the bass or root note of each chord. So it's going to be either on the 6th, 5th, or 4th string. Okay? So with all that being said, let's go ahead and break this down a little bit. What we're going to do is let's go ahead and start on our A minor chord since that's the first chord in the song. In A minor, the lowest note that you play is this 5th A string, so that's where your thumb is going to be on the 5th string. And remember, these 3 fingers are on the bottom 3. And what I want you to do is pick the bass note, so your thumb A. Then you're going to do your pointer finger on the 3rd string. Okay, and then you're going to take your middle and ring finger and pick the bottom 2 strings together. All right, and then go back to your index finger. So the whole thing is 5, 3, 2 and 1, 3. And that's the whole picking pattern. If you can get used to the way this feels on your right hand, we're going to apply it with all the other chords in this song. So I would definitely recommend pausing right now and just getting used to this feeling. Thumb, pointer, middle ring, pointer. Okay? 5, 3, 2 and 1, 3. And all the other chords are going to follow suit. So next we have our G major. Your thumb's moving over here to the 6th E string because that's the bass or the root note of the G chord. So we've got 6, 3, 2 and 1, 3. Okay? E minor is going to look just like our G. We've got 6, 3, 2 and 1, 3. And then F, this is why I like to play the barred version of F. I do think it sounds a little richer with that bass F, or that 6th string here. So with my bar version of F, I have 6, 3, 2 and 1, 3. Okay? And then let's just go over our last 2 chords. Our C major is going to look like our A minor with your thumb on the 5th string. We've got 5, 3, 2 and 1, 3. Okay, and then last is our D minor. D minor is the only chord where our D string, or our 4th string, is the lowest in this chord. So we're going to go 4, 3, 2 and 1, 3. Okay, so notice how with all of the chord shapes that we're playing, your fingers are picking basically the same thing. The only finger that should be moving around strings is your thumb to cover the root note of whatever chord you're playing. Okay, so once you get that pattern down, you kind of just want to practice through each of these chords and make sure that your thumb knows where to move. And once you do that, we can kind of string some of this together. So looking at the verse, we're going from A minor to G to E minor to F. So that would look like this. We've got a minor to G to E minor to F. All right, and that's the whole pattern, how you would play it for the entire song, and all of the verses will follow this chord order. So stringing it together and speeding it up just a little, it'll sound like this. We've got a minor to G to E minor to F. And this is how you can play all of the verses that follow this chord order. We gather here, we line up, weeping in a sunlit room. And if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too. All right, and so now let's go ahead and take a look at one of the choruses. Basically, the pattern is going to be the same. The only thing that's changing are the chords that you're playing. So remember, for C major, our thumb is on this 5th A string. We've got C to D minor to A minor to F. All right. So again, stringing it together and speeding it up just a little sounds like this. We've got C to D minor to A minor to F. I didn't have it in myself to go with grace, and you're the hero flying around saving face. All right, and you would just keep going like that. And then when that bridge comes in, there's a little bit more drum there, and that's where I will switch into the strumming pattern that I taught you earlier. And this entire picking section is totally optional. If you would rather not do it, then you could totally just replace all of the picking sections with just a single down strum that we covered earlier in this video. All right guys, so one last time, go ahead and pause the video and take as much time as you need to look at this picking pattern, and make sure you take the time to get the coordination down for your fingers. But once you've gone through this, we can go ahead and put everything we've learned in this tutorial together, the chords, the transitions, the strumming, the picking, whatever you like, to put it together to play through the song. 1, 2, ready, go. Gather here, we line up, we've been in a sunlit room. Want to have fun jamming to the rest of the song with me? Then make sure to check out my Patreon page where you can unlock access to this as well as all my other Swiftie sing-along guitar tutorials. I've covered so many of her songs from all the different albums and eras, so if you're a Swiftie who loves to play her songs on the guitar, I would definitely recommend checking it out. I will link it in the description box down below. If you enjoyed learning this song with me, then you should definitely check out this video. Not only does it have a super similar vibe and feel, but it's just as fun and easy to play, so I'll see you over there. Bye!